What's up, twin? How we doing? How we doing? Long time no yap. I missed you guys. Hope y'all are doing good. Couple announcements as always. My birthday was last week. I'm 22. Shout out my cancers. OG original day of cancers, June 21st. You know what I'm saying? This video was actually recorded twice. It was supposed to be recorded and uploaded Monday the 22nd. My phone started tweaking out of nowhere, and it said I didn't have storage, and then it stopped the recording. So I only got like 20 minutes of stuff of recording. And then I tried doing it again yesterday, Friday. Today's Saturday, and then same thing happened. And then I spontaneously got a new phone actually, so the audio should be a lot clearer. The camera should be a lot clearer. Yeah. Well, I'm 22. My birthday was Sunday. It was really good. I'm actually gonna get into it a little bit. I would say it's kind of weird though, because I've said in all my videos I don't script these at all. I literally, it's kind of, I have the thought and then I just press record. This feels a little weird because this is my third time recording this, so my brain feels like it's kind of scripted in terms of some things that I know I'm going to talk about, like this. I've brought this up in the last two videos, but I'm doing a little different today. This is my journal. Anyways, yeah, my birthday was last week. I'm 22. It's pretty cool. I really wanted to make this the day after my birthday, and it would have been posted and everything, but fate of the universe didn't let that happen. But here we are today doing it. And another really big thing, another really important thing, and like actually like listen for like 2 seconds, please. I've had the idea of a video in mind for the last like year or so, but I'm really bad at like pushing myself to do bigger things like this. Anyways, the video idea is I would literally go to a stranger's house, somebody who has like a nice house preferably, and I'd be like, hey, I'm a stranger, you're a stranger, would you make a YouTube video and talk for like 45 minutes? I don't have any idea what we're going to talk about. It's just two strangers having a conversation, and the whole thing just being recorded. The only catch is they just have a nice house. Kid you guys not. I've wanted to do this for like over a year now. I'm just really bad at pushing myself to do things like this. So if like 5 of you guys, even like 3 even, commented, yes, just do that, then I'll do it. Like I said, I'm bad at pushing myself to do kind of these bigger things. Shout out my uncle, by the way, because he actually was a big helper in terms of just posting on YouTube. He told me, he was just like, just post. Literally just post. Worst thing happens, you don't get views. I was like, damn, you're right. And then I just did it. Anyways, if you'd actually be interested in seeing that, please comment it, and then I will get that done ASAP. Those are the precursors. That's really all I got. This video kind of hit me out of nowhere. Short story short, I was at the water area with these two. I don't even know if you can see them. I was at the water area, and like I said, short story short, we're chilling. Ice cream truck pulled up, and there was this little boy. I watched this little boy. Ice cream truck pulled up. Little boy didn't get ice cream. Little boy started crying, and then he went back to playing like 5 minutes later. That's the whole thing, right? But I didn't see something as simple as this little kid didn't get ice cream and cried. I kid you, that's not, I don't know, like it's something so regular, you know, there's all the time kids can't get ice cream and they cry and then they get over it. I didn't see it as surface level as that. I don't know why. What I saw, and it made me realize, I was like, you know, he's like 6 years old, for example, I don't know. From 6 years old to me, 22, to my mom, 46, to grandparents, us as humans, us as people, we're all the exact same, right? But I'm gonna tell you what I mean by that. And why I'm saying we're all the exact same is what I saw when that little kid did an ice cream is I saw a person who got excited about something, who had this idea of something, this thing that he really wanted that bring him joy and happiness, or he had this thing that he really wanted, right? That brought him so much happiness, and then he didn't get it. I watched this kid get really happy about something, and then fate of the universe or just things happen beyond his control or whatever it may be, and he just couldn't get the ice cream. He didn't get the ice cream that he was super excited for, that he was really thinking about eating. And then I watched him not get the ice cream, and I watched him get sad, and I watched him separate himself from being with the rest of the kids and playing and doing something that brings him happiness, separate himself to being sad, and then 5 minutes later just go play. All right, and it like I said, it's super simple. Like I said, this was literally like a whole 5-10 minute window of this happening, literally. But I saw I didn't see a little kid cry about not getting ice cream. I saw a person get sad or get bothered at the fact that there was this idea or this thing that they really wanted, and then, you know, that thing that they wanted just didn't happen. It just flat out didn't happen. And then I watched them be sad about it, and then I also watched them get over it because there's other things to worry about that bring him happiness. There we go. That's what I saw. I feel like I made that. I don't know how long it took me to explain that. It's also probably because I've said this shit 3 times now. But also, we have iced coffee and Doritos on today's menu. Usually, I just have coffee. We have Doritos. But yeah, I don't know. It's something like so simple, but it just reminded me that just we're all the same. The same way I have things going on in my life that I don't get the result that I want, or I see something that I don't want to see, or that I don't like, or something that alters my mood basically. And now I feel bad. I'm in a bad headspace. I'm not feeling like me. But then at the same thing, there's bigger things to worry about that can bring that happiness back that I had before. You know what I mean? Like me, I can see something I don't like or something that affects my mood, and then I can get sad, mad, and then I can just, you know, I can go on a run, or I can go to the gym. I can do something that'll bring me other happiness that was already there before, right? And like, the reason why this video is called Life Doesn't Suck, or It Never Did, whatever it's gonna be, I don't quite know off the top of my head. One of my previous videos, it's not up anymore, but it was called Life Actually Sucks Sometimes, but does it really? Because it was one of those. Sorry, I thought I was gonna choke on a Dorito. What are you doing? Anyways, we just got back from the water park, so we're a little tired. No, sir. Anyways, during that video when I had recorded it, life was just being weird. It was just running its course. A lot of ups and downs, good days, bad days. College, friends, personal, back home. You know, graduation coming up. It was just a lot of things that like my brain just had to like grasp, and it was one of those shit hit the fan, and life just genuinely sucked for a little bit. You know what I mean? But I talked about it. But then at the same time, I talked about how crappy it was. I also talked about how I got reminded that, you know, I can still do things. I can still be a person. I can still be who I want to be in the midst of all of this, right? And the video, like, it was a good video, but a bad video. It got taken down for personal reasons. Sorry, but it's not there anymore. But it was one of those, I truly, at that moment in time, I felt that, like, life kind of sucked for a little bit. Shit hit the fan. I really don't cuss a lot. That's in my, I don't cuss a lot, but in that video, I was cussing a lot. My mom watched it, talked to me, and she was like, you know, it's one of those, you can listen to how I'm speaking, you can tell my voice sounds a little off, you know, a little emotional, whatever. But it was me talking about how just life was just weird and just very overwhelming and whatnot. But here I am making this video talking about that life never sucked. You know what I mean? I just made a video a couple months ago talking about how life sucks. Here I am today talking about it never did. It never did. I think that, like, and I can say this for me personally, like, a big issue that I have that really messes me up is I'm someone who's in the moment, but I'm like overly in the moment, if that makes sense, right? I'm like an in the moment person where it's like I don't take a lot of pictures all the time because I'm just kind of being in the now, not worried about, oh, let me pull my phone out and take a picture. If the moment hits me, it hits me. I don't know. But I'm somebody who I'm overly in the moment where I can see something can happen, and I would just like, I'll run with it. You know what I mean? My brain, I'll run with it. I'll like overthink it, and it'll be like the most minute things. I don't know. My brain's like overly in the moment. Excuse me. And I had a thought earlier today actually, and I put a voice memo in there in my phone, so I kind of remember. Something that I've noticed that I've started doing, and to kind of help me with these things is, I think there's 2 different types of being in the moment. There's being in the base moment, kind of like I said, you know, not really taking pictures because you're kind of just letting everything happen. You're just being observant or whatever it may be. And then letting the moment happen, right? I don't really know how to explain on that, but I will explain on it later. Because like I said, when I get to the journal portion of the video. But yeah, life never sucked. Like I said, it's one of those, I think we're just so in the moment, and everything's so fast paced in the media and this and that, and everything's just happening that we just like, it's like you've seen it on Instagram, you've seen it on Snap or on TikTok or whatever. Life gets so serious you forget that you do like doing X, Y, and Z. For me, life got so serious I forget I like watching anime in the mornings. Life got so serious I forgot I like eating my breakfast on my porch, you know, outside with my dogs. Life got so serious I forgot that I like running at the track. You know what I mean? It's one of those like because of how fast paced it is, and everything like that, and how I'm telling you guys how I'm overly in the moment. I think me being overly in the moment led to it getting so serious that I do forget that I watch anime in the mornings. You know what I mean? I've been getting flashbacks from last year's memories, and I think it's like for me right now, it's kind of like funny to look back at it and think about how my summers have gone. A lot of my summers since I've been in college have been really, really weird. It's kind of like I've learned something about myself every single year, or like each summer, but in a really weird, unique way. I don't know. I know, like last summer for me was actually really, really emotional. A lot of personal stuff. This summer's been decently emotional, like 50-50. Not 50. It's been emotional summer, like early on, but it's kind of figuring itself out. I don't know. But it's like what I was talking about the memories for is last summer I had this routine of I'd get up early. I wouldn't be on my phone. I'd go on a walk around my neighborhood. Then I'd eat my coffee. I'd have all my breakfast outside, and then I watch anime until I had to leave for work. I got up probably at 7:30, 8ish, and I had to leave around like 12. So a couple hours to just like do a handful of things, right? And I found myself I had this routine that I created, and I had so much clarity. I was so happy. And I'm not saying I don't have clarity right now, or I'm not happy. I am very happy. We're working on it. I'm getting happier. You feel me? But it was one of those I've realized that like life got so serious or shit hit the fan that I've stopped doing these things that I always did. You know what I mean? Just how this little kid, shit got serious for him when he didn't get his ice cream. He stopped doing something that brought him happiness, which is playing in the water. Hey, can you not? I love you. But rather than not sit there and watch you lick yourself, you're okay. But just please don't do that. Or at least like get out of the angle. I don't know. I don't know if I'm making sense, guys. Like I said, I've recorded this 2 times, and it feels like I'm forcing myself to speak at this point. It's scripted, but I don't know. Something else that I've started doing is I've started doing things truly like for myself to make myself happier, and it's actually been working a lot. Sometimes when I'll be in the gym and I'll be on the stairs or on a run outside or on a walk outside or on the treadmill, I'll sometimes listen to my old videos and kind of see what I'm talking about. You know, I think it's very interesting. I'll even listen to videos from like 2 months ago, and I'm like, damn, you were saying that? And that was only 2 months ago. But something that I've noticed with a lot of my videos, I tell you guys to do things for yourself, to show up for yourself, you know, to try to make yourself happier and a better version of you. And things like journaling, like reading, learning a new hobby, learning how to draw, learning how to paint, run club, book club, play the game, learn a new game, learn a new skill, doing something for yourself to have your mind learn something new or just grow into a better, more complete version of you, right? And the reason I bring this up is because I feel like I say this in a lot of my videos, but I actually don't do it myself. I'm a pretty hypocritical person when it comes to at least things that I tell you guys. I tell you guys to journal. I didn't really journal. I started drawing last year a little bit. I'm gonna keep it a book that lasted like 2 weeks because I would try to do it. The idea was like, oh, I'm gonna like sit outside for like 30 minutes a day and draw, and then I was like, nigga, it's hot. You know what I mean? But I had these things that I would try to tell you guys, and I can't say I'm fully hypocritical because as I'm sitting here telling you guys to go outside or go be in nature, whatever, I'd go on my runs. You know what I mean? There was days I remember specifically. I don't know exactly what happened, but there was a day at school, wasn't the greatest day. Something had happened, altered my mood, and I went to go skate. I skated around for a couple hours to just let my mind do its thing, but something that, you know, also helped me, that benefited me to the fullest form. You know what I mean? And excuse me, doing something for myself. I don't know why I forgot the words for a second, but like I still have those moments where I would do things like that, but then I realized that I don't do it as much as I preach, right? Which kind of brings me to the next segment of the video, which I've started journaling. I've started journaling. I kind of just woke up one day and I was like, I'm not losing anything if I journal. Why not just write about my day? You know what I mean? And that's what I started doing. And I'm going to go through some of these because I feel this journal has made me realize, and also recording this twice, has made me realize that life never sucked. It really never did. Life never sucked at all. It's the moments, it truly is, I've realized that the moments where you think life sucks is truly the moments that makes it so much more appreciative. And it's so hard to understand that sometimes, or to remind ourselves that, because if we're being in the moment, like I said, it's one of those, the moment just sucks. You just want the moment to be over with. But it's those same moments that I think is what really, really makes life just not suck. You know what I mean? And I don't even know if I'm making sense. I had a moment dawn on me, earlier today where I was like, damn, dude, I'm 22. I'm yapping about this shit like I don't even know. And I'm like, some people need to hear this. I don't know. My brain's just like, recording this for a third time's throwing me off. But we're gonna get to my journal. The only different thing that I did note is because I was recording this outside and it's kind of windy outside. So before I pressed record, I went through and I read some of these and I highlighted days that I wanted to read to you guys, to kind of just show, this process of the ups and downs and the weirdness, but how I think it's kind of just part of the process. What? So additional context, I guess you could say, the last couple of videos, the one about words, and then there's another one. Anyways, the one about words and the other one kind of stuff. My brain health's been a little iffy this summer. Women related issues, not anything bad. This woman didn't do anything wrong, but that's just kind of where these brain issues in mine have stemmed from. But again, the woman, she didn't do anything to me, so like, we're cool, right? But I really, really like this woman. Like, really, really, really like her. So, yeah. But, day one. 2 seconds, I love you. And it's underlined. I write these in my head, and then I read it out loud right after to just, I don't know. Yeah. Not gonna lie, today's been a little weird. Hella rain this morning. I think it threw me off. And then in parentheses, I didn't want to go to work. It's one of those, it rains and then your mood shifts a little, whatever. Anyways. But later around lunch, I checked my phone, and something had happened on my phone. It low-key hurt, and I just wanted to understand. I feel I've been so lost recently. Fast forward, God got it. Got home, shower, music, think. But main thing that I got reminded of something. Soul Eater. Quote, don't let the madness take over. Brain's been in conflict, not gonna lie. But the rest of today, I've decided to do what the body, underlined, wants to do, and so far so good. Everything happens for a reason. I love you, Brashawn. A couple things I want to highlight right here. Social media. I've realized social media's been a impact on my mood, but I'm not gonna sit here and say delete social media or delete Instagram, Snapchat, whatever. Because at the same time, I'm not gonna do it. I actually enjoy being on social media and seeing what my friends are posting and seeing if they traveled or whatever it is. I like seeing my people happy. If my people are happy, I'm happy. You know what I mean? So, I'm not going to sit here and say delete social media, but it's also one of those, even while writing, something happened social media related that had kind of just altered my mood. And kind of like I said, I was low-key hurt, and I just wanted to try and understand, and I feel I've been so lost recently. But towards the bottom, though, I said brain's been in a conflict, but the rest of today I've decided to do what the body wants to do, and so far so good. Something that I've differentiated with my brain, I guess you could say, this summer is I feel like there's 3 parts to us, right? Or parts to your brain, or parts to you. There's your subconscious, there's your conscious, and there's your external. External is the easiest one. It's just your body. You know what I mean? I feel like your conscious, how I think about it, is if I were to sit here and stop talking right now and my thoughts just kind of just happen, or that conversation you have in your head, I think that's your conscious, right? And then for me, your subconscious is when you're just scrolling on TikTok and your brain's just 100 miles an hour, just from one thought to the next, to boom, 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 to the fake conversations, to whatever it is. To me, that's your subconscious, right? And what I meant here is I've realized that there's these 3 parts to me and who I am, and it's very, since I've sort of understood it, I feel like I can acknowledge what part of me is taking over. But with this, what I meant was I just had this external urge to just play the game. You know what I mean? And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna, whatever the external me wants to do, I'm just gonna do it. And it turned out it's really good. But like I said, everything happens for a reason. I love you, Brashawn. Oh, additionally, I said I got reminded of something. So this tattoo right here, I don't know how well you can see it. It's my Soul Eater tattoo. It says a sound soul dwells in a sound mind and sound body, with the Kishin eyes right under it. Right. Short story short, this isn't even really explaining the anime, but the Kishin, it's in the anime. There's like this madness, and it basically just makes you go crazy, right? To me, the equivalent of this tattoo and how I said don't let the madness take over. The madness is our brain. I think nothing in this world can truly bring you the absolute most joy than your brain and yourself can bring you the most joy. Nothing on this world can bring you more joy than that, right? But then I also think at the same time, nothing can mess you up the most or bring you the most sadness or hurt or pain additionally than your brain and yourself. You know what I mean? And what I mean by this is don't let the madness that is our brain, that is these thoughts that loop, these fake conversations you have, the predicting how the conversation is going to go, don't let the brain and all that stuff take over, because that's what affects your conscious and what affects your body. All that brain looping, that conversation that you wish you had, that transitions into your conscious, which transitions into you consciously thinking about the conversation, which then transitions into you might lose motivation for whatever it is you were going to do that day. You know what I mean? And I've had moments like that where I've lost motivation to go to the gym because I couldn't distinguish what my subconscious was doing. I was letting the madness take over, right? So, yeah. But that's day one. I feel like that was a really long rant. But day two, and these are all the days I'm going to read to you are highlighted days. But it's again, I feel that I've truly, like, reading back on these, you'll notice the difference. It's like 10-ish, and I want to say, just get over it, twin. Social media was social meeting, and it told a story. It's honestly hard to accept, but twin, there's nothing you can do, so don't sit in it. Don't be mad, be glad. I don't know how to feel, but I promise you'll be all right. Everything happens for a reason, twin. Believe in that. I love you, Brashawn. This day I also journaled twice. This was, like I said, 10 a.m. and then I had journaled later. Like I said, one of those person I really care about in social media, and it was something that just resulted in my mood kind of not being the best, right? But fast forward, I talked to my best. This is 7 p.m. when I wrote this because I wrote that down. I talked to my best friend earlier about female and life. It was really therapeutic, but kind of painful, to be honest. She gave me female insight that was needed, and I did need it. My boy brain isn't the smartest in the world. I didn't like what I heard, but it's probably the truth. With like the emoji where it's like the eyes and like the line, the mouth is like a slash. I don't know. Anyways, it was probably the truth. Focus on yourself, twin, and what you can control. Don't put thoughts elsewhere. Don't let the madness win. I love you, Brashawn. Something that has kind of came with, I've realized a lot of issues this summer, and I feel like my mental feeling like it's off, is that I've put thoughts elsewhere. I said it in one of my previous videos early in the summer, even the first 2 days of journaling, I'd wake up and I would immediately think about the said female instantly. Kid you guys not. I wake up, I'm not thinking about, hey, I have to go work out later, I have to go to the store, I want to work for dinner, oh, I need to take my dogs out, I really got to pee. No, I'm thinking about the female, this woman. Kid you guys not. And I realized that it was again also that I didn't completely distinguish, like I said, the three parts of my brain yet. So it's one of those, I externally am waking up, I externally, I'm finna go pee, I'm finna let my dogs outside, but subconsciously my brain's like thinking about this female, therefore I'm not worried about these other things, but I'm also not distinguishing the fact that my subconscious is doing something that it doesn't need to do. You know what I mean? Whereas if I was consciously aware of it, I'd be like, hey, shut the fuck up. Let's go take the damn dogs outside. Focus on that later or something. You know what I mean? But that's what, but don't put thoughts elsewhere. It's one of those, it's self-explanatory. I've realized that subconsciously putting this energy into thinking about things that are beyond my control is consciously wasting my energy. I'm consciously not getting the urges to go outside or do these things. You know what I mean? I don't know. But it's one of those, you can, through me speaking it out loud, you can tell, something's off. I'm kind of feeling a little iffy, Yeah. Excuse me. Day 4, though, This was another one that I really wanted to highlight. Um, but it's one of those you're gonna start to see it. So this is day 4, 2 days later. Today was good, but a little weird. Not gonna lie. I think it's because yesterday something had happened, and today was a follow up day, and it felt odd. Um, Day 3 something had happened. Nothing crazy by the way. Day 3 something had happened, and my brain it kind of just threw my brain off. And day 4 was the immediate follow up, so I think my brain was still kind of just like, what was that type of deal, which just made it feel a little weird. Um, Gym was really good, felt really strong with a little smiley face. Not gonna lie though, I did start to get annoyed. Brain kept looping music and it just started to be really annoying. I wanted to stop, but it just wouldn't. I went to the gym around 5, and not gonna lie, I had zero desire to go, but I took a nap and went, so yay. I still think about her, not gonna lie, but I remind myself to focus on things within your control, and I mean it helps, sorta, but we'll get there. Overall, a good day. I love you, Prashan. Also, I've wrote in these at the bottom. The very last thing I write is "I love you" in my name in all caps. Um, I don't know. It's one of those little self affirmations. You know what I mean? I'm big. I love love. You know, I'm a big lover boy. Um, but I also think, you know, me having a really big heart and me loving so much is kind of what hurts me sometimes. But at the same time, I wouldn't trade it for anything but who I am. So, little self affirmations definitely help for sure and contribute to this overall good day. Um, but yeah, even like reading day 4, you know, I talk about how I got annoyed because my brain was looping music, and I even put I wanted it to stop, but it just wouldn't. That's one of those you can tell my brain's trying to adjust through, you know, day 2. One of those it's trying to adjust is in, I'm saying don't let the madness take over, don't put your thoughts elsewhere, and you can see that it's trying to adjust, but it's just having a hard time. You know, I think I obviously like this song, so I'm gonna think about the song, duh. But my brain's trying to adjust with the fact that I consciously like this song and consciously thinking about this song, but subconsciously I'm like, hey, what the hell is happening? I don't know how to feel or how to think. So those two are messing together and just looping the song. You can tell something's off, but it's at the same time with a desire to get better. You know what I mean? And even like I said, I still think about her, not gonna lie. But focus on things within your control. Don't put thoughts elsewhere. You know what I mean? That's just one of those I have to constantly remind myself, hey twin, focus on things that are within your control. Focus on what you can control. Focus on what's happening now. Don't put thoughts elsewhere because you're just wasting energy. There's nothing you can do if you're putting thoughts aside. You're like you putting energy into these thoughts and these things is energy that could be put into something real, into into real life that can affect you or that you can control. You know what I mean? But yeah, I average you guys 3 days. You can, like I said, something's off. You kind of tell, we're trying to fix it. But yeah, day 6. So this is 2 days again. I think this is actually where I really wanted to highlight. I think this day 6 is kind of in the next coming days really highlight where I say I feel that life just never sucked. It never did. It's just that constant. We're in the moment. Life goes so fast that when shit hits the fan, it just sucks. But you have to just understand that the moment when shit hits the fan, you need that moment. It's the best moment to make life great. I don't know. Anyways, a bit of a weird day, but a good one. Watched Obsession, best underlined horror movie I've seen, no doubt. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a big horror movie guy. My top 3 personal favorites, and I'm gonna make this part short. Top 3 personal favorites: Climax, Obsession, and then Bring Her Back. Basically, Climax, it's a French horror film, like musical sort of. They're all dancers and they're having a party. Short story short, somebody spikes the punch with LSD. Boom. Whole plot. Go watch it. And then Obsession is my number 2, and then Bring Her Back's number 3. Personal favorites, best horror movies: Obsession, Climax, Bring Her Back. Obsession is just great. I could make that into its own thing, but I'm not. Anyways, best horror movie I've seen, no doubt. But not gonna lie, I found myself gravitating towards my phone a lot, wanting to quote be seen for no reason too. Just the thought of being seen. Low key a chill day. Sadly, I don't remember it all. I will say with this, I kind of write these the next morning. So like today, I'll write it tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, I'll write it Monday morning, so on and so forth. I tell myself to write it at night. I just get lazy and I'm like, I just feel like going to sleep. But yeah, I will say though, I was praying on the way to the theater and then asked that God makes today literally go however. I started by saying a good day, and then I stopped and said I was fine with a 4 out of 10 day. Fast forward, That's low-key what happened, and I wasn't mad about it at all. I actually laughed, and then it turned into like an 8. Um, and this is kind of where I think the big shift in what I've consciously noticed and what through journaling I've noticed. When I pray in the mornings, I always thank God for waking me up, allow me to see another day, to live this life, you know what I mean? But another thing that I started asking for is I'll say, hey, make today a good day, or literally make it whatever it needs to be. If today needs to be a 3 out of 10, let it be a 3 out of 10. If I need to go somewhere, I just let me go there. If I need to speak to somebody, let us be at the right place at the right time. Then the conversation happens. If I need to do something, ask that just let me do it. You know what I mean? Kind of just letting the day take its course. I'm not asking for a good day. I'm asking that today just is whatever. If it needs to be a bad day, let it be a bad day. I'm not mad at that, right? And that's what I prayed for. And then later in the day, before the gym, I was sitting there because I really didn't think about going to the gym. I had a moment. I was sitting in my room and I was like, dude, why do I feel so weird? Like, why do I feel so weird? And then I got a call back. I was like, it's kind of funny that you're asking why is today weird, but that's what you were talking about this morning before you went to the movie or whatever, right? And then I laughed at it. And then I said it turned into an 8. And then I went to the gym, right? To finish it off, though, gym was good. I clean and jerk 250. A stranger gave me a compliment, and I gave a stranger a compliment. Low-key, Braden was a little off this morning, but we'll be all right. I love you, Brashawn. I chose to write down the gym part because something about me is I kind of try to encourage, talking to strangers, giving people compliments, just doing good deeds just because there's been moments where I've consciously caught myself. I was at the gym once, and I've seen how something just as simple as one sentence or giving a stranger a compliment can truly affect somebody so good, so positively, right? Like I said, I was at the gym once, no motivation to be there. I was really tired. I was doing plyometrics. I was having a crappy day. But then a stranger was like, hey, you're really athletic. Like, you jump really high. That's really cool. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. The entire trajectory of my lift changed. The rest of my lift, amazing. I didn't want to be there before, but it's one of those, I saw how giving somebody just a simple compliment can work wonders and you won't even know it. You know what I mean? And that's something that I try to instill within myself, to just, like, I feel that, like, with people, there's always that, we have that half a second thought of give this stranger a random compliment or don't, and a lot of times we don't. I have noticed a lot of time myself. I have to consciously say, no, give them the compliment. Give them the compliment. It takes more energy to not give the compliment and to think about that than to just say it. It takes 2 seconds, dude, literally. But, yeah, one of those, like, you can see, I talk about gravitating towards my phone, the media aspect and how my phone is having an influence on me and wanting to be seen for just the thought of being seen. And then my brain being off a little bit in the morning, but also highlighting, we'll be all right. You know what I mean? It's like, I feel like you're starting to see this balance a little bit more of how previously I talked about how life sucks, and I'm in here talking about how life sucks and it's so weird. And there's things I don't understand. There's things I want to try to process and get over. But then I say I was fine with the day being a 4 out of 10, that I want the day to be weird. You know what I mean? And I think it's just, like, this is really just highlighting that this shit just never sucked, bro. Like, it didn't. Day 7, though. So this is one day after. What was the next one? Okay, day 9 or 10. Day 7. Today wasn't bad. I'd say, honestly, a lot like the day before in terms of making whatever with a little smile on the face. And that turned into literally me doing nothing funny enough. Washed my hair, brought my mom drinks, played with the dogs, and played the game. Literally nothing else. But again, it was nice, though. I did mess up and get food at like 10. Nonetheless, I honestly really enjoyed the fact that the day is weird. I love you, Brashawn. Like, can't make this shit up, guys. This is literally the next day. The day before, I said, I was fine with the day being a 4 out of 10, the day being weird. And then quite literally the next day, the day's weird. And then I really enjoyed the fact that the day is weird. And then I'm actually not even sitting here talking about my brain health and if my brain's wandering, if I'm thinking about this female. I didn't even, like, this is honestly one of the shorter pages, you know what I mean? Right? But it's simple, and there's a smiley face, make today whatever, and I did nothing, and then I'm putting funny enough. I feel like you can see this slow transition of, like, shit hit the fan, but the fan still works. That motherfucker's still kicking. You know what I mean? Let's see. This was the UFC. I was actually going to talk about this one, but I was just really excited because I was just waiting for UFC the whole day. Kind of from the moment I woke up. 250 White House card. Great card. I was sad that Ilya and Pereira lost, but my parlay hit, so I didn't really care. Anyways, but day 10. So this is just 3 days later. Nigga. Such a good fucking day. Oh my lord. First, good lift, of course. One of my coworkers wasn't there, so I had to go to the back and help like 3 times. I work at a sports performance facility, and we like every class or every hour we just have different groups come in: basketball, soccer, volleyball, football, youth, whatever. So coworker didn't show up, or he wasn't there. Excuse me. So I had to go to the back and help like 3 times. I didn't have my phone, so I noticed I wasn't thinking about the time so much, or I wasn't thinking about said female so much, right? Low-key didn't do a lot while working, so it was chill, but I did talk to parents, which was nice. Kind of like how I said earlier, I try to just do subtle things that kind of don't affect anybody, like one of those just conversating with a stranger to just conversate with them to, you don't know. Like, I think about things really deep for kind of like no reason, to be honest, but it's one of those, like, you don't know what a stranger's going through. It's kind of why I have the word Sonder tattooed on me. Everyone's life is just as complex as yours, but you never have any idea what someone's going through. So if you're sitting there, like I'm the front desk guy, so I'm like, if somebody's at the front, why would I not just talk to them? It doesn't defeat anything. I know what I'm going through, so I know how me talking to you will affect me to a degree, but I don't know what you're going through. The least I can do is just have a conversation with you, so we're both not sitting here in silence or listening to music, whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anyways, so I did that. Continuation. Side note, I found new ink, I think. One of the kids' dad is funny as fuck though, bro. I see where he gets it from. One of my favorite kids. He's just an oddball, and I just love him. He's honestly one of my favorites. I talked to his dad, and what I was saying is I talked to his dad, and I like his son, dude, and him, dude, they're the exact same. I was like, I 100% see where he gets it from. He's just like his dad. But home, food, games, I don't know. Writing how good today was honestly doesn't compare to the feelings. And it's not like anything crazy happened. I lied, I got paid. I did get paid. I got in, and I straight to my motherfucking paycheck, put that hoe in my vehicle. Straight to the bank after work. But for real though, it was honestly a pretty regular Tuesday, and my mind felt so clear, which is why I would say it was great. I love you, Brashawn. I don't know. I started off saying that it was such a great day. You know what I mean? And even if one of those, when a coworker doesn't show up, the cogs, they get a little worked around a little bit. The machine doesn't work that well. You know what I mean? Because there's a cog missing. But even with somebody not being there and the flow of work being off, it didn't bother me. It actually led to, because I had to go do other things, I couldn't be on my phone. And then I've realized that the phone is one of those things that leads to the root of my issues. I'm thinking about this female because I have my phone on me or whatever it may be. I don't have my phone on me, so I'm not thinking about the female. I'm not thinking about, external things beyond my control. You know what I mean? And then even talking to one of the parents, I'm a big tattoo guy. I love them. I actually, when I talk about my birthday, I got a new one. And I just realized I haven't shown that because this is my 3rd time recording this. Maharaga wheel tattoo. I need to add more to it. I was really excited in the moment when I got it, so I kind of spaced out on, hey, I want this, this, and this. Anyways, yeah. But talk to a parent about tattoos. It was just one of those. Just talking to somebody about tattoos brings me joy. When I'm having a conversation about tattoos, I am not thinking about any problems that I have at all. But again, one of those, like, it's literally like I said, writing how good today was doesn't compare to the feeling itself. I didn't put itself, but you get the point. And you can see through these 10 days, or at least, what I've read to you, there's this transition of, even in this day, I'm talking about how my mind wasn't wandering on this female or things that are beyond my control, which is nice. And then I put my mind felt so clear, which is why I said it was a good day. Like, you can see the transition of me being in the moment and letting the moment take over and just life just being horrible. And even in the previous videos, you can tell I'm off. But here I am today, here I am now, writing down how my day is and how my brain health is and what I'm thinking about. And it's just, life just never sucked, bro. It just never did. It never did. It's just because it's so fast paced and things happen that we don't want to happen, or things, happen that give us different feelings or emotions or alter our mood, that's why it sucks. But at the same time, I promise you, the fact that your mood got altered is living proof that this shit is worth it, bro. That it's working. That it's great. That it's so worth just living. I don't know, dude. I love this life shit, bro, and it doesn't make a lick of sense to me, bro. Day 11. I don't know how far we are. Probably 40 minutes in, 45. Day 11, though. I'll tell you what, twin. Another good day. The order of events post gym got a little swap. Basically, this day I think I had to do like laundry, I had to shower, I was trying to mow. Basically, the arrangements of what I was trying to do after I worked out got rearranged. Anyways, but I still made it work. Honestly, not much today though. Laundry, dogs, play with them, or laundry, dogs and play with them, house chores, and that's really it. But I found even with simplicity like that, I still have a good day, which I truly enjoy. And quite literally, this day was I woke up, I did my eat outside. I don't eat the days because this summer I haven't been eating before I go work out, whatever. But it's one of those get up, drink my coffee, watch YouTube, watch anime, whatever, go work out. But then this day I had house chores. I had laundry I needed to do. I was trying to take them to the water park so they could play. What else did I put? Yeah. But even though it's like but I found with even the simplicity like that, I still had a good day, which is why I truly enjoyed it. Anyways, to continue though, I've started noticing when I pray in the mornings, I truly have less words each day in regard to this female. Yeah, I say, I hope, I have, wow, hello. Yeah, I say good day, positive energy, but it just feels off. I don't know. Basically, kind of when my summer started, and I'm not the most religious guy by any means, so I'm not gonna have this video take a turn and talk about that. But it's one of those. I can't help that prayer makes me feel good, and I've had instances in my life where it's one of those fate of the universe doesn't even make sense, or like a what are the odds, a 1 in a million. It just doesn't make sense. But if something like that happens and then praying makes me feel good, why am I not why would I stop praying? It makes me feel good. You know what I mean? But kind of through this summer, it started off. I'd pray. I'd say, hey, I ask that you keep her safe, that she's having fun, that the people are there, that she's having a good time. Lots of pictures, lots of memories. And then kind of throughout the summer, I honestly, when I'd pray over her and I just pray in general, I kind of just had less and less to say. It went from me starting off good summer. I hope she learns about herself. The solitude, the self journey, the exploring, having fun, whatever. And then it kind of transitioned into I remember being in the shower and I was like, God, I don't know what to say. I don't have a lot of words. And then it transitioned into me just hey, just let her have fun and keep her safe. Quite literally, which felt really weird to me because it's one of those. I care so deeply for this person, but it's if you care so deeply, why do you have less thoughts about them? And it threw me off, right? But yeah, like I said, it feels off. I don't know. Brain health is S tier. I'm noticing I truly am not worried about. I'm not thinking about this female a lot or things that are beyond my control. Obviously, there's moments, but they've been kept to a minimum, and it's really nice. I feel 1% more clear. I love you, Brashawn. Additionally, like I said, the start of this summer was kind of rocky, and you can tell that through the videos. But something that I just asked for is God, just give me 1% clarity, bro. Make my brain just 1% clearer, 1% more me. And that's kind of what I feel like I was getting to. It's like I say, I'm still thinking about this female. I'm still praying for, asking that she's safe and whatever. But then I'm also at the same time I'm not thinking about her as much. But I don't know. It was a weird thing to go through. But again, I'm talking about how simple today is. How I literally did 4 things, but it was still such a great day. And then I'm also talking. Brain health is S tier. Literally, you can't beat that. You know what I mean? But that's day 11. So now we're gonna talk about my birthday, which is kind of one of those. I think this part of the video. It's not anything crazy, but it kind of, like I said, it just highlights just the weirdness and how I talk about it. I want the weirdness to happen because I think the weirdness is what makes it really good. I'm not gonna read these in detail, but I mean, I know what it was. So I'm just gonna tell you. Basically, excuse me. The day before my birthday, well, my mom dyed my hair at night, and then the day before my birthday, I went to get it braided. Got it braided, and obviously, kind of like again, like I said, this is the morning. Woke up, prayed God, thank you for waking me up. Make today really good or really weird. It's kind of no in between. It's literally what I said. Wake up, my hair's dyed. I'm more of a dark purple guy, like one of those where if the light was off right now, you'd think it's black, but we go outside, you're like, oh, it's purple, right? It's a little lighter than that, so I was a little iffy about it, but I still appreciate having my hair dyed nonetheless because I think it just adds to just really who I am. Anyways, fast forward, I pray, make it really good or really weird. I go get my braids. I'm being light-skinned, you know, I'm good angles, blah, 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 posting on the story, trying to find the perfect song, whatever, right? Fast forward, I come home, and I was sitting in this chair, and I was like, why do I feel like this? I feel so weird. And then I sat, you know, on my dog's bed, just on the ground, and I was sitting there, and I was like, dude, I could just cry right now. And then I talked out loud, I was like, man, I wish my dog was in here. Then he showed up. But then my dog came in, and I sat my head on him, and I just cried there for a second. And then I told myself out loud, I was like, twin, just let it happen. Something like that. I was like, just let it happen, keep crying or whatever. And I kid you not, this is literally within like 10 minutes of just getting my hair braided. Swear. Weird. That's why it's so fucking weird. You'd think I was just 10 minutes ago, I was being light skinned. I just got my hair done. Back of my head hurt a little bit. I could barely move around. Back of my head hurt. But motherfucker, I look good. I got fresh braids. My hair's freshly dyed. I'm finna get a fade. My birthday's coming up. Just to come home and cry on the floor. What world does that make sense? It doesn't. And I think that adds to the weird dynamic. Fast forward, we went out of town, so packed, dipped. We got there because we were with my mom's friend. Got to my mom's friend, went to get food. Or no, we went indoor skydiving too. So I'll get to that later. We went indoor skydiving. Then we went to the friend. Then went to get food. Then we went back to the friend's house to change. Then we went out. Now, I think this part kind of highlights the fact how earlier I was trying to bring up a point of being in the moment versus letting the moment happen. And then also asking for weirdness, but then also asking about, or not asking, but also talking about how life sucks, but sometimes, but it really doesn't. We had went indoor skydiving. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I think it was kind of a scam. It was kind of like $20 get you a minute, $30 get you a minute and a half, and then like $40 gets you like 2.5 minutes, some 3 minutes. I don't know. It was kind of a scam. I'm gonna keep it a buck. We spent more time listening to the guy explain everything than we did the actual indoor skydiving part. But why I'm bringing this up, what I'm getting at, is because I feel that my birthday truly highlights this being in the moment versus letting the moment happen, while also highlighting let the day be weird, while also highlighting the fact that life didn't suck. I was kind of annoyed by the fact that it was so short. I was kind of annoyed I felt like, we got a little bit scammed. But then, I thought it was weird. But then at the same time, I also found myself, I kind of appreciated it. Get up. Get up here. Get up. Good boy. Get up. Get up there. Get up. Come on. Get up. Get up. Good boy. Anyways, I found myself appreciating the fact that, like, hey, I may have thought this place was weird and kind of boring, but I still appreciated that. I don't even know if that makes sense. I found that, even though I was crying that same morning, I appreciated that for some reason. You know what I mean? I found that to go to the being in the moment thing, I was in the moment critiquing how this experience is going to go and whatnot, and then it transitioned into a point where I was just letting the moment happen, and then I found myself, yeah, we may be getting scammed, yeah, this may be 2 minutes long, but I'm still enjoying it. I'm letting the scam happen, and it was just nice. One of those, the experience itself wasn't the best thing in the world. it wasn't anything crazy at all. I'm gonna be so for it really wasn't anything crazy, but I found myself just enjoying the fact that this thing that I didn't think was quite that interesting, and it still really isn't. I enjoy the fact that I don't think it's that interesting. I don't even know if that makes sense. Making, kind of, and that kind of circles back to the fact that this concept that life sucks, this thing is boring, but I'm enjoying the fact that it's boring. Does that even make sense? Like, I don't know. Um, and then fast forward to another thing that I want to talk about, I guess. We went to a piano bar. This is not what I envisioned at all. They didn't tell me where it was for the longest, but then we were trying to find where to park, and they said it, and I googled it. Anyways, I thought piano bar was like jazz-esque lounge. You know what I'm saying? You got jazz playing, saxophones, trumpets. You know what I'm saying? Soft drum, piano in the back, whatever. Dim lights. That's what I thought when I heard piano bar. We get there, not like that at all. It's two pianos and drums and a guitar on the side. It was basically like the performer's version of, like, you'd request whatever songs you'd want, and then they just perform it just with the piano version, opposed to like the regular instruments. It was very different, but it was something. At first, I found myself being in the moment and sitting there critiquing my mom. And I was honest, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I was a little bored. My mom noticed this because we were texting later. I found myself critiquing. I was like, dang, I really don't know any of these songs. I probably knew like one in every 5 songs. I didn't have a lot of alcohol in my system, so I'm obviously not finna get into these songs like the other people. The guy that left me, he was getting into it, he was going ham. But I was like, twin, I wish I was there with you. Just know, right? And I found myself being overly in the moment, kind of how I told you guys earlier how I am, and sitting there thinking about like, oh, I really don't know these songs. Oh, I don't have a lot of alcohol. Oh, I can't see the TV. Because there was lacrosse going and some other sport, and I was like, oh, I really can't see the TV. Oh, I want something to drink, but I don't want alcohol right now. Kind of being overly in the moment, making the moment kind of boring, yeah. But then it just hit a point where I just let the moment happen, let the weirdness happen, let the fact that life sucks, that this thing is boring, just letting it all happen. And then at some point I was like, you know what, the fact that I don't know these songs doesn't bother me, because the fact that I don't have a lot of alcohol in my system doesn't bother me, because I'm appreciating the fact that, one, I'm out doing something, right? But then I'm appreciating the fact that, I may not know the songs, but I like how the performers are engaging with the crowd. I may not know the songs, but I like the fact that, their back wall has a couple different unique things. They had a little saying of the day, and you could add to this saying. I like that. I like the fact that I may not have had a lot of alcohol, but I enjoyed the fact that the people would still engage with the crowd. Come on stage, or they'd still talk to them or whatever, just to get them involved. Letting the moment happen rather than me being in the moment critiquing all of these things and telling myself it's boring and telling myself that it may suck, but instead letting the moment happen, realizing that the fact that I don't know all these songs, it's not bothering me. It's making it great. That's making it more appreciative. I don't even know. One of those, like, the context of like life sucking is that it was boring, yes. But the fact that it was boring is actually what made it enjoyable, right? Life sucks, but the fact that life sucks actually makes it enjoyable, right? Like, I hope I'm making sense here, guys. Yeah. And then fast forward, the next day, the day of my birthday, this is Sunday. I actually wanted to make this video, but I was super tired, so I didn't. But fast forward, though, woke up, showered, whatever. And then I'm a big coffee guy, so I wanted to go find me a coffee place, right? On the way to find a coffee place, I queued up all of my songs that I wanted to hear, that morning while I had my alone time. And then I ended up crying again. I was crying on the way to the coffee shop. Yeah. Couldn't tell you why. I had like a wide variety of songs going to. I had some Mavi in there. I had some Kanye in there. Some Graduation. I had some Freddie Gibbs in there. I had some YNW Melly. I had some Lil Uzi. Very different array of people, right? But I still found, like, I'm driving to the coffee shop and I'm literally crying, and I'm sitting there and like there's a part of me that's like laughing. And this is why it's like, why I talk about, I appreciate the weird so much, and I appreciate the fact that just life does suck sometimes. but at the same time, it really doesn't never suck, right? There was like a couple parts of me, as I'm crying, I'm sitting there. One part of me, I'm not the biggest birthday guy. Obviously, like I like my birthday, yeah, but I'm kind of one of those. I'm like, hey, this, and this would be really cool for my birthday, and that's it. And I'm fine calling it a day, quite literally. Like anyways, I'm one of those like we can go thrifting, we can go out to eat, and I'm cool with that. And we can just come back home, chill at the house. I'll go to the gym later. Like quite literally, or I'm like, this workout equipment would be cool, or this, and this, or like, you know what I mean? But I'm flat out, I'm just not the biggest on birthdays. I really don't plan them out. I'm not when I want to go do X, Y, and Z unless it's like spontaneous thrifting. I'm not the biggest guy when it comes to going out. But really, just birthdays just aren't my thing. And there's very few people in my life who've made me realize how important birthdays truly are. One of them was the female, and one of them was my grandma. Every single year, my grandma has always been the first person to call on every single birthday. The moment it hits 12, your phone's ringing, quite literally. She does with everybody. She does with all of her kids, my mom, my aunt, my uncles, all the grandkids, me, my cousin, everybody. Everybody, doesn't matter who you are. And I had found myself, at some point just appreciating my birthday. But at the same time, I just really wanted to just speak to one of the people who values birthdays so much, because I'm a person who regularly doesn't. But I don't know. I just it was just a little different. I don't know. And then I was crying because it felt like there was quite like a hole in my heart. You know what I mean? I don't know. There was like a hole, right? And this is part of it. Like it felt like there's a hole in my heart, right? Half of it's missing, but then the other half's like. This is why I said it was like I cried because I was honestly kind of sad, but then it was like a good cry. I found myself like understanding. I was like, hey, you're 22, you're growing up, and I really appreciate it. I don't know. I'm sitting here, I feel tears like coming up right now. I'm not gonna cry, but I found myself. It was kind of nice. I don't know, like it was sad, like damn, to when I really am getting older, damn, to when I really am 22, damn, to when I'm finishing in my last year of college, like things like that. But I don't know, like where part of it, where half of it was like empty, was like, dang, I just, dude, I would do anything for that happy birthday text or happy birthday phone call, like truly. But the other part was like one part's sad for that reason, the other part's like, this life thing is pretty cool. You get a birthday, you get another birthday today. You know what I mean? And I just found myself really appreciating that. You know what I mean? Fast forward though, I got my coffee. Fast forward, we came back, dropped the coffee off, went to the tattoo convention, got my ink. Like I said, it was really good. It was actually kind of funny. I was like overwhelmed with excitement that like when the guy drew it up, I told him, I was like, I want to add something, but I don't know. I was like, no, it's good like that. It's good like that. Just come on, right now, I'm ready. I would have added more stuff for sure, but it's okay. I'll get it later. Fast forward though, got the tattoo, headed back home, went to Cracker Barrel, talked to my mom about this female and kind of just where my brain health's been at, and just everything in general. And it was really nice. It was really refreshing because me and her don't talk about, my life with women a lot. It's kind of one of those. There's a girl I start talking to. Oh, tell her about her, and then a couple months later, whatever, hey, it didn't work out. Oh, what happened? Oh, it just didn't work out. Very, I leave it very, very shallow and very minuscule, I guess. But it was one of those, because I've had such strong emotions, and like I wrote in the journal, I felt I was lost. I wanted to understand. I felt I've been confused. I did it to, in part, just get it off my chest, to hear myself out loud, to just let those emotions just happen, to just speak to another person about this situation. But then also one of those, me and my mom aren't the closest, as I've said in videos before. It was one of those, when we talk about women, it's very minuscule, like I said. So it's one of those, me actually expressing to her something very, very serious with how I've been feeling. It was very nice. And it, like I said, all of this, everything that I'm talking about right now, all of this is just circling back to the fact that there's moments where it's weird or it may suck or you don't like it, but then at the same time, if you can just figure out that internal switch is what makes the moment so much more enjoyable. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, with everything happening with, you know, this female that I really care for and really like. It's one of those, things are hurting, things are causing me pain, whatever. But at the same time, that pain, that weirdness, it's just part of it. And it's so hard to tell ourselves that sometimes, because just when you're in the moment, it just sucks. It really, it just does, and there's nothing else you can do about it. And one of those where you don't even feel like eating food. I've had a handful of those, or I don't care for food all day, and then I don't eat all day, quite literally. Um, don't do that. Go eat some damn food. Um, but one of those, things are happening. It's going fast. It's causing your emotions and your mood to just switch and not be quite like you. But then you have to just say thank you, or appreciate the fact that you just don't feel quite like yourself, because it'll, when you feel like yourself again, it's just so much better. I don't even know. I can't even explain it. I can't. I finally entered fucking flow state, by the way, too. I figured that one out like 10 minutes ago. I've been yapping so much I didn't even eat my Doritos. I don't know. Life doesn't suck. Doesn't suck. Hold on. Sorry. Life doesn't suck, though. It never did. It really never did. I think I say it sucks for me, like I said earlier, because I'm a person who's overly in the moment. Overly in the moment. You can tell me something and I'm running with it. I can see something and I'm running with it. I can see something and I can have the best day in the world. I can see something and have the worst day in the world. But that's just who I am, right? But at the same time, I think you need those super weird moments that you don't like to make it so much more appreciative, to remind you that it just doesn't suck. It's so hard to say that it's part of the process, but twin, it's part of the process. I've been having to tell myself that, and I'm having moments where I don't quite even understand the process, but I can tell myself, don't let the madness take over, and that shit works. That's part of the process. I tell myself, don't let that weird shit that your brain does, don't let it get to you, and it's part of the process, and it's working. And I'm journaling and writing how shitty my day is, and then I'm writing about how good my day is, and it's all part of the process. It's weird, it's terrifying, it sucks sometimes. Shit hits the fan breaks, you gotta get a new fan. Motherfucker, you still got a fan. I don't even know if that made sense or not. I don't know, guys. It just never sucked, bro. Life never did, bro. It's really like, with how media is and how fast paced everything is, and there's all these expectations and world stuff happening. Like, it's easy for life to catch up to you. And one of those, it's easy for life to just not be in the ideal. But at the same time, fundamentally, there's things that are you specific things that when shit does hit the fan, you can still bring yourself that happiness. That little kid still liked playing in the water, so he went back to playing in the water rather than sitting there crying about the fact that he didn't get ice cream, right? I still enjoy going on runs and going to the track. So yeah, where I may not want to go run and go to the track, that's still something that'll bring me joy, so I'm gonna go do it anyways. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, there's things within you that you understand within yourself that they just bring you happiness, and it affects nobody. Me personally, sitting outside, eating my breakfast and drinking my coffee brings me happiness. It brings me peace. It brings me clarity. I enjoy hearing the cars go by, seeing the trees fly, seeing the birds fly, hearing the leaves mush around, seeing my dogs roll around in the grass. That brings me so much happiness without the cost of affecting anybody else. Do those things, because those things is what will ultimately remind you that just life just never sucks. That this weirdness is just simply part of the beauty of all of this. You know what I mean? I don't know. Do those things that bring you happiness that don't affect anybody. Because like I said, nobody can make you happier than yourself. But at the same time, nobody can bring you down more than you can bring yourself down. So, do things for yourself. But do things that only affect you, that don't affect anybody else. Because I think the moment it starts, maybe it's affecting somebody else, the moment it might be a little different than you think. I don't know, it might not bring you as much happiness as you think. Journaling affects nobody besides me. Running affects nobody besides me. Running at the track affects nobody besides me. Maybe there's some, I don't know, person who might think they're slow. I don't know. Or maybe like, oh, I'm faster than they. I don't know. You know, going to the gym affects nobody but me. When I don't go to the gym, because life is being weird, it's affecting me. I'm not getting as stronger. I'm you know, losing muscle, whatever. You get the point though, right? Whereas like, I don't know, if I want to go out of town, for me, it's something that if I don't really think about it, it might affect others. I don't know, my mom's situation with work, the dogs, whatever it may be. You know what I mean? Do things for yourself that just only affect you, that only benefit you, that don't even remotely come close to affecting anybody else or what they would think or anything like that. Journaling only affects me. Running only affects me. Going to the gym only affects me. Doing these videos, it's a little bit different, but I lied. It's a lot different because the idea is for it to have an effect on you guys so you guys can be happier. You guys can feel the truest form of yourself, whatever it may be. But you get what I'm getting at. Reading only affects me. Learning how to draw only affects me. Like, there's things out there that you can do for yourself to become a better version of yourself without affecting the cost of anybody. Do those things. Be a better version of yourself, twin. I really don't got a lot else to say because this is probably quite long. That's all I got. I love you guys. Thank you for your time. Truly. Skip back to the beginning and comment if you want to see me talk to a stranger.